Hello everybody, welcome to this quick preview video of Double Game Week 33, coming off the back of a decent Game Week 32, or Double Game Week 32. I think on reflection, with my triple captaincy on Isaac, and the fact that he only got a goal and an assist out of 9 goals, as I stated last night in the video, it's unfortunately one of those things where we have no control over it. I'm stating the bloody obvious. I know that people like me get very passionate about things that I do, whether it's this, whether it's this. But the truth of the matter is that it is very, very, very frustrating when a player like Isaac's ability and scoring goals for fun all season, and then the 1 week that it's a double game week against a decent opposition, where you'd like to think that he could get three minimum, I would say, 3 minimum attacking returns across 2 fixtures, comes away with 2 and 0 bonus points. I'd say it's just accept it, move on. From a Crystal Palace perspective, however, moving into, because this is a very unique situation where it's very rare to get a double-double. I think this is the first time this season where we've had double-doubles with the likes of, was it Liverpool, Everton? And certainly seeing what Crystal Palace have done over the last couple of games really doesn't breed confidence into anybody that's thinking of buying them in on a free hit, for argument's sake. Because this is my free hit team up on screen. It is going to be, me and Ray have pretty much convinced ourselves that this is going to be the team. Ray in goal, Saliba, Vardy, Munoz. You've just said about Crystal Palace. We'll get onto that in a minute. Saka, Rodgers, Rashford, Salah, De Bruyne, Mamouche, Watkins. Unless there is any news as we build up to the first opening match of the game week, which is, funny enough, Brentford versus... Oh, it's 3 o'clock, is it? Oh, right. I genuinely didn't know that. It's all 3 o'clock. Oh. So we're going to get news about Man... Okay, well, let's just say for argument's sake, we get news on Man City. And it's Kevin De Bruyne doesn't start, then Ray's going to find out this right now. But it will probably be then, all right then, get rid of him, bring in Bowen and Captain Marmouche. But other than that, the rest of the team is fine. The truth of the matter is everybody here listening into this, watching this... Essentially, we're all in the same boat here. We've all got the same players. It's just, what's it going to be? Free hit or bench boost? Now, from what I can see from either mini-league point of views or things that I see on X / what Trigger Lips brings to us on his videos, is that it looks like the majority are going to be bench boosting this particular game week. Players that are really engaged within the game. Basically, losers like us. Oh. Can't be saying that, Steve-o. So, really, it's down to 12 double week game players if people are planned properly for the bench boost versus mine and Ray's 10. And then when it comes to the bench boost single game week players, let's not mess about here. The popular picks are the West Ham duo of Wan-Bissaka and Bowen / Areola, I suppose. Yeah, the triple up of whatever combinations you have of that. And then Bradley, Salah. There's the odd person here or there. Andrew, for argument's sake, they'll have Diaz. But if you're talking the popular picks, overall, it's going to be the likes of single game week players. If people are planned properly, it will be a double up of Liverpool and a double up of West Ham. Give or take. There will be some people, of course, with Newcastle assets. Of course there will be. But if people are playing their free hit, the free hit is going to look something similar to the team that you've got up on screen right now. Give or take. The odd differential here or there to this team. But it's pretty much going to be similar. And then when it comes to the bench boosters, basically me and Ray are thinking, right then, what damage can Bradley Wan-Bissaka and Bowen, along with, if it is Areola, the single game week, player of choice is him. If it's a double game weeker in Henderson/Martinez, what damage will they do? Well, if we're thinking logically here, you're looking at probably the likes of Bradley getting a clean sheet. You've got Wan-Bissaka and Bowen, let's just say clean sheet, along with Bowen getting a brace. And then with the double game week players in the likes of Martinez and Henderson, well, again, you're looking at, across the 2 games here, lucky to get a clean sheet in those 4 matches. So Henderson versus Bournemouth and Arsenal, and Martinez with Newcastle and Man City. I would argue that there's 1 clean sheet in that, and that's Crystal Palace at home to Bournemouth. But with the way Crystal Palace played last night, the way Bournemouth are playing, the way, of course, Arsenal are now going to be approaching these particular games in the Premier League, Aston Villa, Newcastle, etc., these teams have got something to play for. So I think that really we'll be lucky. Anybody with Henderson will be lucky to get a clean sheet along with Martinez. But hey, that's just me jinxing everything there. But certainly I think that this is going to be a pretty flat double game week 33, in the sense of, because like with double game week 32, a lot of us have had all very similar players. The difference in what I've seen in the mini leagues, I always look at the moderator league because it's just the easiest one that I look at to kind of get a gauge of how I'm personally doing. And it's really tightened up between myself, Dan. Well, actually not, I've gone right ahead of Dan now, but myself, Firetog and Dread. There's only, if I can do my maths right here, 13 points between me and Dread. I'm on 2038, he's on 2051. Firetog, because of that Eddie Howe captain, you know what I mean, Eddie Howe assistant manager chip, goes ahead of me by 3 points. But these players were so far ahead of me, it was embarrassing. And I don't mean embarrassing from the sense of I'm behind them. I just mean it was embarrassing that their points difference was near enough 100 points clear at one point of the season. Now it's down to 13, which, could you say it's a downfall from their behalf? Could you say it's an uprise on my behalf, or a bit in the middle? I would say it's a bit in the middle. I think Firetog's been extremely unlucky with some of the decisions that have gone against him. And I think that it would be exactly the same with Dread, although Dread's having a more of a game this year where he's just having a lot of fun with it, which again we should all inspire to be aiming for, to be completely frank. But Jason's now 100, basically 100 points behind me, is 96 points behind me. Dan is 28 points behind me, and obviously Jason played his bench boost the week just gone, and he got a total on the bench boost of a whopping 6, 7, that's 11, 12, 13, 14 points. So 6 for Martinez, 2 for Mateta, Vardy 1, and Dan Burn 7. Dan, on the other hand, I'm pretty sure, I don't think he played a chip. No, he didn't. He got 73 points. Team is fine. Team's absolutely fine. Martinez, Burn, Munoz, Saliba, Murphy, Salah, Sarr, Saka, Mamouche, Mateta and Isaac. So it's going to be really interesting to see how, because Jason, I'm going to assume, is going to be free hitting in game week 34. That's the assumption. Along with the likes of Dan, who again, Dan can't even free hit in game week 34. So, well, I'm going to now look at Dan's team, and then I'm going to deliberately put it up on screen for anybody even bothering watching this tripe. So Dan, he's in a position in which he could be a bit screwed, because we know how many teams are blanking in game week 34, and that's not looking good for Dan. That is not looking good for Dan at all, because of course Arsenal blank, Crystal Palace blank. Now he's set up for the what do we call it? He's set up for the Newcastle fixture, But the fact that he's going to have to, well, it is pretty much, oh dear, what do I do without any Crystal Palace or Man City? Because, and I think it was the other team that blanks in Gameweek 34 as well. Completely forgotten. Is it Aston Villa? Yeah, Aston Villa, of course, and Man City. So Dan's team will be down to Dan Burn, Jacob Murphy, Salah, Digne, Mikalenko, and that's it. I'm just going to quickly check if he's no, he had wildcarded because I saw he's wildcarded the other day. So Dan's had a bit of a disaster this particular last few weeks, which is good for me. That's the main talking point. I know Jason's still got his triple captaincy left. I'm certain of it. And he's got his free hit left. So, kind of it looks like, barring some kind of absolute disaster. Oh yeah, he's still got his triple captaincy. So Jason's still got triple captaincy and free hit. So barring some disaster, I'll be beating them to again this year, which is good. But Jason's team moving into that free hit game week 34, again, I'm assuming that's exactly what he's going to do. Obviously, I have no idea what he's going to have done this week. Is it going to be another -8, another -12, maybe a -16 going into this particular double game week, which he doesn't really need to do. But this is his team up on screen here. And we've got the likes of Henderson in goal. It is Cucurella, Kirkes, Murillo, Salah, Fernandez, and Burmo, Sarr, Murphy, Isaac, Marmouche, Martinez, Mateta, Vardiol, and Burn. So we know that Vardiol, Mateta, Martinez, Marmouche, Sarr, all these players won't be playing. So then who has he got left to play for game week 34? And the simple answer is he's just doomed. Because, well, I say doomed in the sense of that he needs to play his free hit. So he's down to what? Cucurella, Kirkes, Murillo, Salah, Fernandez and Burmo. The 2-3 Newcastle players. So actually, there are quite a few players. I mean, it's not quite a disaster. But yeah, he's up to 9 players for game week 34. But he's got a free hit in 34. The assumption is that anyway. And yeah, with me and Ray, when it comes to our team, like I state, me and him are just basically going up against the single game week players. They're the teams that we're up against, the single game week players. And can those single game week players punish us enough? Like the assistant manager chip players, there's nothing we can do about that. Nothing we can do about that at all. And when it comes to up against the bench boosters, I think, like I stated, I think we miss out at maximum 20 points. Maximum 20 points. I just don't see, like I said, if you're looking at Martinez, if you've got a double up of 2 double game week players, by the way, that's really difficult to say, a double up of a double game week player. You're looking at what? Martinez at best across 2 fixtures, 3-4 points. And then Henderson again, 3 or 4 points. Then you've got Areola, who could be 6. Like I said, Wan-Bissaka 6, so that's 12. Bowen could get a double-digit haul, let's say 10 points. So that's what, 22. And then Bradley with a clean sheet, that's 28. So let's just say that then. Let's just round it up to 30 points. Worst case scenario, me and Ray could be down by 30 points when it comes to the single game week players that are seeming to be popular enough on the internet, in which the average team that is going with bench boost is attacking West Ham and Leicester, or more specifically attacking the West Ham fixture and the Liverpool fixture. If me and Ray were being really bold, we could easily just get rid of Salah and bring in Eze and have a full 11 of double game week players. But as Ray quite rightly stated, and we both agreed on our free hit Patreon podcast, is that the truth of the matter is that we need to do a bit of shielding. So there's a few players in our team which are shields going into this particular double game week 33, with the likes of Saliba, Vardy or Munoz. I mean, what differentials in that team are there? What, Rashford and Kevin De Bruyne, who, in theory, as I've just heard on Juice, Mo's saying about the fact that with Kevin De Bruyne playing a Saturday, a Tuesday and then a Sunday, I think it'll be okay. But, like I stated, if we get news that Kevin De Bruyne isn't even starting against Everton, at this point it's, oh, wait a minute, we're going to have to rethink now. We're going to have to rethink. But I do like the captaincy. The captaincy this week can be really, really interesting. I know Sim's thinking of going, well, he did say Kevin De Bruyne is going to be sticking on him. I've seen a few others, like who? I don't know. Saying Kevin De Bruyne potentially this week. I know on the FF Scouts site, the Fantasy Football Scouts site, that Marmoush is favourite. Then it's Saka. Then it's De Bruyne. Now, it may have changed in the last 24 hours, or 48 hours more specifically. I very much doubt it. I think it's probably exactly the same as what it was a couple of days ago. And me and Ray are very bullish about the Kevin De Bruyne captaincy. A lot of people, like I stated, if we're going to go with the particular point of view regarding Fantasy Football Scout, we are looking at going up against, so if it's Kevin De Bruyne, it's going to be up against Marmoush. That's what's looking likely, and then Saka. Now, Ray, of course, is over the moon that Arsenal got through to the Champions League semi-finals last night, and is still a bit wary of Saka's minutes across the next two. But he's still confident that he still plays a good, solid amount. So yeah, Marmoush 38%, Saka 28%, De Bruyne 9%. So it could be a case of, maybe Kevin De Bruyne is a really nice differential, because I'm just looking at the Scouts bus team for Game Week 33. And guess who the differentials are on me and Ray? So it's Bowen versus Rashford. And it's Mateta versus Watkins. That's it. So you got Mateta, who's not going to play. Well, based on what we've seen across the last two fixtures, Mateta, as Ray said, there's something going on there. He's not got the confidence, and I think he's just an avoid. But Mateta, guaranteed starter at least, but is he going to play, more than 55 minutes? Bowen, again, he could be a really, really good option over one of the double game week players. He's like Rashford, for instance. He's guaranteed to start. He's up against a very poor Southampton team. And certainly I do think that Bowen is a great shout this week, but West Ham at home, I know they're against Southampton, but not that great. They've only won 2 of the last 6. Again, we can look into why this is the case. The history between these two particular teams. I'm sure it's going to be West Ham's favour. Here we go. This is enjoyable reading. Southampton 0, West Ham 0. Then we got a couple of big games in West Ham losing 3-2 and Southampton winning 3-1. And then it's Southampton 1, West Ham 1. West Ham 1, Southampton 0. Southampton 0, West Ham 1. Read into that what you will. But, last time Southampton played a game, yes, they lost. They lost 3-0 to Aston Villa, but Aston Villa got everything to play for. Everything to play for. And by all accounts, they were pretty decent against Tottenham. Don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here in a spare room in my mum's house suggesting for 1 minute that Southampton are going to get anything out of West Ham. There could be a tiny bit of hope. The point being is that, yeah, Bowen's a really good option. I just love the punts on our free hits I'm happy with. That's what it is punts at the end of the day. Nice little punts. And we know that from between Asensio, Rashford and Watkins, I put it in a tier list of Rashford's going to have probably the most minutes based on what we're seeing and hearing. Then it's Watkins and it's Asensio. Now, that doesn't mean Rashford's going to get 180 minutes. It could mean he gets 120 minutes. Watkins only gets 110 minutes and Asensio only gets 100. Or Rashford gets 160, Watkins 140, Asensio 110. Whatever. But the point being is that I think that Rodgers being the outstanding candidate, and I did laugh when Mo made the point regarding Rodgers is only going to get 2 points across those two fixtures probably. When he's been sat on Mo's bench for weeks and weeks on end, getting points after points after points. The second we all want to play him, we all want him to perform really well. Oh great, I've got 3 points out of those 2 fixtures. Brilliant. Watkins made a couple of cameo appearances while Asensio was the one that got the 180 minutes. None of us will know, and this is what me and Ray and got to get on. Even anybody watching this has got to get their mindsets on. We cannot account for what Emre is thinking. We can make as much guesswork as we bloody can. It's just out of our hands. So this is why I'm really, really interested in this team here as to what it is. And certainly, yeah, like I say, the De Bruyne captaincy pick is going to be either an absolute mitigated disaster or it could really, really flourish. And to be fair, De Bruyne does like to show up in the big games as well. And that game against Aston Villa is huge. Look, this is the only decent thing about this upcoming game week is that you've got Aston Villa and Man City fighting for something. This is huge. Emre is going to go into that game knowing that if they beat Man City, whisper it quietly, they'll probably go ahead of them. In fact, they will go ahead of them. Aston Villa, if they beat Man City, they go ahead of Man City. And they'll be ahead of them by 1 point if Aston Villa beat Newcastle. Because, of course, again, Aston Villa at home to Newcastle, huge game. Absolutely huge. And once we come out of this game week, we then go into game week 34, where again, me and Ray have got a good enough plan where what I love about this plan is that we then move into game week 34 with a full 11, or we got 10 players, and we're going to be doing Gabriel out for whomever it may be. So it's potentially going to be 8 Nuri, in game week 34 for their fixture at home to Leicester. And then it's Liverpool. Let's sack off whether it's Eze, whether it's Palmer. It really doesn't matter. Let's sack off one of those players. It probably won't be Palmer because we've got him, haven't we? So it'll be probably Eze, and let's bring in Diaz. So then we've got Salah and Diaz up against Spurs. If Shota was showing a bit of form, maybe he could be that little differential. Even Gakpo could be a tiny differential. But right now, as I sit here talking, Diaz is okay to have an 8 Nuri up against Leicester. I think we're fine with that. Now, a lot of the free hitters, as I've stated, they're going to be attacking Liverpool, so a double up, triple up of Newcastle, so we're straight up to 5. Then we'll be looking at Wolves, so let's say that's a double up, that's 7. Bournemouth, maybe one player, that's 8. Fernandes from Man United, that's 9. Then Fulham, I've seen a bit of talk about Sessegnon, that's 10. Then it's just a lottery, isn't it? Do we go with the Nottingham Forest players? Do we go with Mburma of Brentford or Vissa? Do we go with a cheeky punt on a Spurs player like Johnson? Wolves I've just mentioned. Leicester no one's going to touch. Southampton's no one's going to touch. Ipswich no one's going to touch. Then you've got Brighton, West Ham, Chelsea, Everton. Well, no one's going to touch Palmer. So then we're down to Everton, West Ham, Brighton. Well, it's then going to be down to Estupinan, Matoma, if Matoma's fit. Adingra. Then you've got Bowen. So it's very slim pickings. Very slim pickings after you've kind of got the core of what most people are going to be looking at. That's why me and Ray, with the likes of the fact we're going to have Palmer of Chelsea, we're going to have the 3 Newcastle, we're going to have 8 Newry most likely with Leicester at home. Then we've got the Liverpool double up. We've got a double up of Nottingham Forest. We've got Areola of West Ham. So yeah, we're pretty... Well, we are set up for game week 34. And then once we move into game week 36, we're going to have, I believe we're going to have four free transfers to then set us up for the double in 36 to bench boost, and then look at players to be hopefully bench boosting for that double up. Because we're going to have all the information by then. We're going to have all the information that we need by that point. So yeah, it's a really, for me and Ray, it's a really interesting end to the season, and it's unlikely, but it would be incredible if. So I've reached the top 4 of the Torbay Elite, which is just ludicrous. The fact that I've now made it to the top 4. Every season I seem to get right up there in the Torbay Elite, which is good. So I'm 30 points behind Dale in 3rd. And I'm 9 points ahead of Shane. And then when it comes to the moderator league, like I said, if I was to potentially, it's unlikely, but potentially get ahead of Firetog and Dread FPL, that would be an absolutely outstanding season from my point of view. Firetog's still got the free hit to play, so he's going to play that in 34. And he's also got bench boost, which is going to play in 36. Or vice versa. 36, it will be bench boost. And 34 with the free hit. That's just my assumption, looking at it here and then. And when it comes to Dread, I'm pretty certain as well when it comes to chips, give or take, got very similar. And I think that from that standpoint, it's, we've all got similar chips versus one another. In fact, Dread hasn't even got any chips. He's used them all. So actually, me and Firetog could end up catching and bringing down Dread. Because Dread, for his blank game week 34, he's only got... Well, I will bring it up on screen because this is not good reading for Dread. This is not good reading for Dread at all, because this is a player who, within reason, talks a lot about FPL, plans a lot about FPL, and yet, when it comes to blank game week 34, he could be in a bit of mud. Keyword being could be. Unlikely, but... So we got Milenkovic, that's 1. Burn, 2. We then have Salah, 3. Isaac 4, Pope 5, Semenyo, Kirkes 6, 7. Along with Isaac, so that's 8. So he's got 8 players for the blank game week 34. Now he's probably going to have, if I'm looking at it here correctly, he could have 2, maybe 3 transfers left in the bank. Could do. If not, Dread may have to be taking a hit in game week 34 to play. I'll tell you what, that bench boost is absolutely disgusting that he's played this week. That is absolutely disgusting. Look at this. Pope and the Bournemouth double up. Pope, Semenyo, Kirkes. And that's the thing, you see. Sometimes it's the single game week players that could push you over the line, and that's what could happen with this particular upcoming double game week 33, where it's the single game week players that push people further up the tables rather than these double game week players where there's a bit of to-ing and fro-ing about whether they start or not, in the likes of Saka, in the likes of Rashford, in the likes of Watkins, De Bruyne. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Anyhow, see you later.